Wouldn't want
It went between,
No, go ahead.
it went between my house and the studio and destroyed a mesquite tree that's,
Wow. Boy, it's
All
Lord
the-
looking out for you. Huh?
I think he was after Carol.
Go ahead, call meeting order.
Gee,
Sorry.
Our most gracious Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, this beautiful day. Bless each and every one of us here today as we go through this court meeting. Thank you for the rains that you sent us. Thank you for the rains that you have for us. We ask all these things in thy name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Oh, they're fixing, we got more coming.
Coming in.
Wipe your roof out. That, did it wipe the roof out?
I don't know, I hadn't heard.
Okay, I'll find out for you.
Yeah,
I did a lot of them. A lot of them are gone, including this.
I got a rubber roof. I was hoping to hold up.
It's not leaking anymore. And it certainly, yes, this one will be replaced. Boys and Girls Club, Polly Singer says in center. Have you heard yet?
I haven't heard
Okay, I'll let you know as we find out.
Okay, at this time, any person with business before the court not scheduled on the agenda may speak to the court. No formal action can be taken on these items at this meeting. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Yes, ma'am?
I just wanted to say kudos to Brown County and Brownwood, Texas. Their county commissioners voted down a reinvestment zone, thereby saying no to a tax abatement. They know that big business should be capable of financing their own projects. Big businesses should not require government funding. An example is a business here on 37th Street, a battery storage facility that has 0 abatements, and yet they're still building. On May 25th, our commissioners are having a public hearing on another tax abatement for a reinvestment zone on a commissioner's kinfolk's land. You've heard that old saying, if it's too good to be true, it is too good to be true. I've done some research on tax abatements, and they're not as good as our local officials say they are. I suggest local taxpayers search out information on tax abatements and make a point to show up on May 25th at 10 a.m. and let the Commissioners Court know tax abatements are not as good as they say they are. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, presentation and discussion, department head, committee, and board reports.
I have a report on May Day.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that where you want this at?
Sure. Yes, ma'am.
We had May Day, May 1st, Saturday, May 1st, at the Coliseum. The quilt auction brought $23,650, which was very good. We had less quilts this year than we've had in the past just because of last year, and we're closed those 3 months and less quilters and that sort of thing. So it was very good. The silent auction brought $2,649. The arts and crafts booth brought $2,048. The sweet tooth booth brought $1,616.10, and they sold out at 4:30. We usually go to 6, and they were completely sold out 4:30. The barbecue brought $6,950, and the cake and pie auction was $1,385. After expenses, we had a total profit of $29,357.64. We still have briskets, frozen cooked briskets available for $70 a piece. We've got about 25 of those, so if we can get those sold, well, we'll add that to it. And then the barbecue is cooked by the Exxon Mobil retirees, the Oxy, Doug White and Danny Williams and all of those. Well, there's a volunteer program that they participate in, so I got the paperwork and sent it in for another $2,000 that will come from Exxon Mobil. And if any of the other guys put in any more of their hours, why then they'll send me a thing and I'll I'll approve that and we'll maybe get a little bit more besides, but we're for sure getting another 2,000 from ExxonMobil.
Nice.
So it was a good day.
That is a good day. That was a very good day. Thank you, Tammy. Yes, sir.
I got a little bit
I'm sorry.
for department head, you still on that one?
Yeah, for board reports and all, yes, sir.
This is EMS week. I just kind of let everybody know that you want to come down for the public or anybody else wants to come down with ambulance services and what we're offering, the new ambulance that we got. Also, just to remind everybody for the 20th, Thursday night, we're having the Stop the Bleed class, free to the public. So.
That's at the Armory, right?
Yeah, it's at the Armory, yeah.
What time?
I believe it's 6.
6.
I think there's a community event ad in the paper as well.
Sure do appreciate that. Any other board reports or department head reports? Okay. Court to consider approval of previous court minutes. I looked over them. I found one.
One error, okay. Hey, I'm good. if That's all you found.
Yeah.
I'm successful. I think it was only, okay. What you got?
Under number 5.
Oh.
All.
Almost, okay, yeah, darn. Autocorrect.
Autocorrect, yeah.
Exactly.
And that's one of those words that your spell check won't catch either if you
Right,
don't.
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else see anything on those?
I didn't even see that one.
Good job.
I'll make a motion to approve the previous court
Okay,
minutes.
thank
Second.
All in favor? All right, court to discuss and consider interprecinct project schedule and staffing.
We still haven't gotten together with our guys yet. I guess maybe if this rain, our foremen will get together and see about getting all the equipment set up to be able to do chip seals as the weather warms. Also, I'm doubting very seriously and don't know how the court wants to go forward with it. That a bid, I found a quarry that has this limestone angular rock in it up the southeast of O'Donnell. And so I doubt that this man, we just got it all put together and I think Cynthia sent a bid packet, but I don't think we've got it back for sure. We'll see in a minute.
Okay.
But that's something we may want to consider and we talk about it more whenever we get there.
I got a question.
Sure.
Of course, we had a bunch of hail, and I had some pickups and stuff that got, even their private ones got hailed out. Is it all right? I've got some barn space. I mean, got enough for everybody, and then got enough for my own precinct. But it is all right if I let them pull it under my barns
Your hands, the guys working
with
for you
the
with their
county,
personal
with the
vehicles?
county vehicles?
And you want to protect them, so, yeah, absolutely.
Well, I did that without asking because I didn't have time to call on you or the good Lord, either one. Here it comes.
Yeah.
But, you know, you could just see the curtain rods go up on the other side of we other people, you know, and I don't see nothing wrong with it.
No, there's nothing wrong with protecting your vehicles. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what it's there for.
So if it's all right with the court, I don't care what they think. Cause I think that's just.
Yeah.
If you can get, I may not can get them all under, I think I can figure out how to get one more than what I had under there, but that's one less. You know, that
It's
we
beat up.
save the county a little money.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all I needed to know.
Okay, very good.
Didn't want to be stealing or
Yeah,
selling
that's-
booze.
No. Next Monday, is Memorial Day, and I don't know if y'all have noticed, but, we had 4-H come in and redo the, memorial out there. So we're gonna rededicate that memorial on Monday, and we'll be there out there about 10 o'clock. 4-H is gonna be out there. I've gotten with the American Legion, they're gonna be involved. And, just basically a rededication of that memorial for those that served and lost their lives in the wars. So, just wanted to pass that on to everybody, and then we'll post something this week, just as a reminder. Okay, anything else under there? All right. Court to consider accepting donations to county entities. We had some for the senior center. So is that two different amounts, the 140250 and the 2835, or is it one whole amount?
For which one? I'm
Um,
not sure.
Miscellaneous revenue
Two
and then
separate amounts.
congregate.
It's two.
That's what I thought, okay.
Yep.
All right, so 140250 and 2835.
I'll make the motion, we accept the donations to the senior citizens.
Some good donations. All in favor?
You're just rolling in the money, Tammy, with your Mayday deal.
Yeah.
Court can open and consider bids on road materials. I'll just hand these out. There's 3 different ones. I don't know if they're different or if they're the same. Asphalt emulsions, ball seal, and then. P2 emulsions is who these are. All 3 are on the same, and I'm not sure who those are.
This is seal coating and cobble.
37 when I put that paper, I need to sharpen it. There you go. I'm glad it's not just me that's moving slow. I think this weather's got us all moving a little slow.
Yeah. Yes. You don't mind coming in? No, you're not supposed to have a phone. I forgot about that. You're dangerous.
I said I wasn't supposed to have it up here. I wasn't gonna show it.
Huh? That's for other people that might be dangerous, of course, you're dangerous at court. But why would I pick on her then?
They run out of glue, though.
Thank you. All right, there are several bids. I'll start with this one. This one is from P2 Emulsions. Yeah, P2 Emulsions. brisket. There's 3, 4, asphalt emulsions, 225 gallons of material, asphalt oils. I'm not seeing-
It's on the different color pages.
There
Dave.
you go. 250,000 gallons, P2 CWE-2, 299 a gallon, $747,500. And then, let's see, that's FOB County, FOB plant for the same amount is 274 a gallon, 685,000. P2 emulsions for P2 rock, ROC. FOB County is 282 a gallon, and it's 257 a gallon for the plant. And then P2 prime, this is P2 emulsions also, concentrate, FOB County 204 a gallon, FOB plant is $1.79 a gallon. Vulcan, stone, grade 3, 5637. So grade 3 rock is 5637. Limestone from Vulcan is 2986 delivered.
What grade?
It is A2 base.
What is that, flex base, I guess? I thought it was stone. Huh. Yeah,
They have 2 of those. It's the same thing on there. But the stone was,
that's just grade 3 though. Was he
Grade
grade 4?
yeah, there's grade 4. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Oh,
5637. I thought they were all the same, but they have 2 different ones.
okay.
So their price is the same for grade 3 and grade 4. 5637. I just looked at the 5637.
That's per ton?
both the same?
2 ton, or 2,000. Yeah, it's a ton. And then limestone A2 base is 2986. And then this one. Put that in there. Right asphalt, AC10. Material price is for FOB refinery $2.45. Outgoing freight per gallon is 26 cents. Delivered price is $2.71. And that looks to be all the bids. Is that everything y'all were expecting?
No, it's this other Sand Mills quarry.
Mhm.
I think they're like $5 per yard. And so, I mean, it's just a guess,
Right.
estimate. They're supposed to send in as soon as they could. We just didn't find them quick enough to
Right.
get it on this one. So may want to just go out for bids again on that particular one at some point. We really need to go look at it. I haven't even looked at it, but
So it O'Donnell.
it's southeast of O'Donnell, so
Southeast
back
of O'Donnell.
toward us a little bit.
Okay.
Need to see exactly where it's at.
Yeah.
And look at the rock and make sure
Mhm.
that we're interested. It might be as close as one that Vulcan has, for
Right.
sure,
Right.
or closer. So we'd look at that.
What is that? Welcome from,
That would be Merkel.
Merkel.
For the rock, I don't know, if they got asphalt stuff, I don't know. where that would be. So I would think that we would want to get copies for each one of us to be able to look at until next court meeting and then accept from there. Or we can accept them all and then
Yeah.
whatever.
Well, that's-
But we still need copies of it so that we can all
Yes,
view it and
yes.
check it with all the rest of our bids that we already have to
Of these?
can make it work. We've already got copies the first time. We went out.
Okay. All right, I'll get you all copies today. I don't think they gave, one might have, but I don't think they all gave enough copies. I'll get y'all copies today on that.
So I would make a motion that we accept all bids.
Yeah, that's generally the way we do it. So
Different.
Because there may be
Links.
something
Yeah,
show up
that's
and you can't for this one, but you're in that one.
Or it may be closer for one of us as than is the other.
Mhm.
Makes it work.
It's over.
All in favor? All right, court to consider approval of treasurer's monthly report for April of 2021.
So this month, in April, our financial report, we did see a decrease in our money. We have over this year so far seen a decrease in the sales tax that we are receiving. It's kind of to be expected. But overall, everything else is looking right on track as far as budgets and income and all that stuff. Any questions for me?
So the only thing that we are seeing, we saw a decrease in is sales tax.
And then that has followed this entire year.
Right.
Every month has been a decrease in our sales tax.
Which has been high the last few years anyway.
Yes,
Okay.
Well, it's still down.
I would think so. But it's something for us to watch, especially as we go into budget season, what it starts doing, so. Any other questions?
So our income from taxes has been just.
Mhm.
And
Their
for the
taxes,
most part,
yes, I believe, last time I talked to Jana, she said it was, I can't remember the percent, but we were well in the 90%.
we usually are around 90.
And that's taking out Kinder Morgan
Right.
out of the consideration.
You had that in there and it dropped to
Oh, my
the,
goodness, yeah.
we were, that's what she told me too, was
Yeah.
in the 90%. Somewhere in the 90s.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Do you want to go ahead and, or do we want to vote on that one first?
I'll make a motion to accept the treasurer's monthly report.
All in favor? Go ahead, Kirsten.
And then as far as
Personnel.
personnel, we are seeing overtime a lot in the jail, or mainly the dispatchers. They're still having quite a bit of turnover. For a whole week, they were 90% filled. Now, we have seen some terminations. So they have positions open again, deputy jailer and dispatchers. So we'll continue seeing overtime there. So then there was a little bit from the parks due to the car show. But for the most part, that was most of the personnel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any questions for Kirsten on the personnel report?
Make a motion to accept personnel report.
Second.
All in favor? Court to consider certification of additional revenues in the form of supplement payment, unused funds for SHP Partnership 2020, and this is the check we got at the last meeting for $17,810.27.
Make a motion to certify the revenue.
All in favor? Court to discuss and consider a commissioner's court policy requiring prior court approval for non-budgeted expenditures or line item transfers over 10,000 to non-budgeted expenditures or for capital items or equipment for all departments and elected officials. Look, you,
Okay. I've always had an issue with state law says you can spend this court can spend $50,000 or any elected official or less without court approval. And I think I've talked to several counties and it ranges from, and we can create a policy to lower that. We cannot go over 50. We can lower it. And the majority of them are from $2,000 to 20,000. Very few have the state law of 50. And this only affects non-budgeted items. It doesn't affect anything that's budgeted for, fuel, anything. I just think it would bring clarity and transparency for the taxpayers if they knew what we were. And the main thing is the end of the year, we all know it happens. We have money left. We line item transfer $49,999 somewhere else to get something that's not budgeted for, which I disagree with. And I would like to lower that to 10,000. And like I said, with the court, we can do it with a policy change as per state law. I just think it would get things more out in the open. I really do. Now that does not mean an emergency that it cannot be done, but I want it is not an emergency. Okay, that's my entire issue, because nobody, if we owned a business, we would allow our employees to take their budget, what they had left, and go buy something they wasn't budgeted for. Would you? I wouldn't. And I just don't think it's fair to the taxpayers that this goes on, even though it's money left. I think it should go back to general fund, or as far as road and bridge, go back to road and bridge. But that's, we've talked about it before. I think it's a good policy. I think it's good for the taxpayers. I think it's good for this court, transparency, because we've all talked about it. And I would, depending on what the court decides, like to make it effective immediately.
I'll second that.
I'm a little confused on the $50,000 thing. I thought the $50,000 would, of course, it used to be 25,000, that you could not purchase anything that was above 50,000 unless you bought it on the buy board, or you went out for bids.
That is correct.
I did not know that it, there was another regulation or law or statute that talked about line transfers and non-budgeted items.
Well, I just
Is
thought,
is that a statute you've looked up? And
I mean, it's part of the local government code. If you read it, counties are allowed to, you can't go over 50, okay?
on purchases
Yes, correct,
of equipment and.
correct.
Yeah.
But we are allowed with a policy to lower it for court approval, thus the 10 grand.
So, but that's for any single item.
Any
That you're-
non-budgeted item.
Well, it's even budgeted items. You cannot go over $50,000,
I understand that.
even
Yes,
budgeted items.
exactly, without buy board, we're going out for bids.
That's right.
Yeah.
But I don't know how that applies to line item transfers.
Well,
and budget amendments.
because the line item transfers, I mean, we've all watched it for years.
Well, I
I've watched
agree
it
with
for-
what you're saying. I'm not
Because if it's,
stating that what you're saying is wrong as far as what we should do to be transparent. I'm just saying I don't understand how, where there is in the government code that it talks about being $50,000 can be attributed to line of transfers and budget amendments.
well,
Because if you could
If you're going through a bid process or you're going to a buy board, then that doesn't hold.
Exactly.
So you do a line transfer for $100,000, if that's the case, and still be able to do it because it's in the buy board, even if it's not budgeted for.
Well, maybe so, but I also, my point is it starts in November, December, October.
I agree, it does,
And I
Yeah.
just,
it happens.
and
And we need to be
we need to be more,
frugal,
yes, and more conscientious
Yeah.
with,
manage our money better.
yes, and that is the reason that I think this is a fabulous idea, of course, whatever the court decides. But there's nothing that says,
Well, you get court approval to do it, so what you're saying really isn't,
Well,
doesn't stop you from
I
being able to
need
do it.
kind
You
of
got
back
good
up
reason.
on a little bit of that right there. And to say, if you've got every piece of equipment you need to do your precinct ample, that's fine. Now I'm kind of catching on there just a little bit. And we was about $3 behind that, John, on that end of town. Because nothing had been bought or replaced or anything like that. And we've tried to do it as little at a time as we can and have done what I think is a pretty good job. We've got enough stuff to work with now. But if you come along there and you penny pinched all year long, trying to make hold some money to where you could
mhm,
buy this piece of equipment, even if you couldn't pay for it all.
mhm,
That may be the only time you can do it.
mhm.
And you can still do it. Sean's not
I'm not,
preventing anyone from doing it. He's just saying it needs to come into this courtroom and we all agree that it should be done. Just as whenever I was going to take everything I could and buy the motor grader, so we wouldn't be paying the interest on it, and the judge had a problem with that. It didn't matter to me. One way or the other, we're paying the interest. We've got them. But it didn't feel, there wasn't a feeling in the court like it should be done that way. And so we didn't do it. And so that would be the same thing. Everyone that wants to go over $10,000 at the end of the year would have to come to court and
That's what
say,
I'm
this
saying,
is,
it's
yeah,
gonna have to come before here anyway.
And it's not just precincts, it's.
yeah.
every-
No, it's everybody.
It's everybody.
It's everybody.
Yeah, it's everybody.
I don't have any problem with that.
Now, I
I just didn't understand where you were going.
I did look for that, and I saw where it was for bids, not necessarily, I think it's more of a policy issue
Yes,
for that.
it is. Because like I said, with the other counties I've talked to that has this, it is a policy change.
Right.
On Commissioner's Court. I think it would be best.
Well, I can see your deal, but maybe I've been poor in all my life. When you got this right here and you've been selling eggs to get it, and come along here and you got it and you needed that for 2 years and you finally got it, nickel, penny, and the dime for it. I'm not sure, if you got every piece of equipment you need, that's fine. But whenever you, like I say, when you set out China and for the first 2 years, or longer than that, I had 2 hands.
Yeah.
Well, you didn't need much equipment. But when you finally found some people who kind of wanted to work, you needed something besides the hoe handle to work on.
Yeah.
Now then, I'm not needing nothing right now that I know of. I'm not trying to put more balls in the box than I got because I think we've been frugal. I hope the county understands we didn't have nothing and 2 hands to push nothing. So, but and I see what Sean's And I think we ought to be just as open as we possibly can in every way.
I agree.
But sometimes things happen that, hey, we didn't blow 4 tires out this year. And we didn't have to replace an engine this year. So we can kind of refresh this other deal right here. Well, if you can't
Buy
do
what you
that,
need.
without making every Tom, Dick, and Harry mad, and they don't know what your business is, you know, I understand what he's talking about. And I think big stuff ought to come.
I agree. My thought is that everything, if you feel like you need something, and this is not just for precincts, this is for every department that we have. If you feel like you need something, it needs to be put in the budget process.
Mhm.
When we're going through that, plan ahead, know what you need the next year.
Mhm.
Don't wait till the end of the year and decide that you need to buy it then. But you have situations like last year with the pandemic. We didn't open the pool. We had money in
Mhm.
that was gonna be just sitting there, and we decided to repurpose that money
Yeah.
for the ball fields. So.
And we did that.
And we did that in here, exactly. So, are there anybody out there any department heads that have any thoughts on this? Does this will affect y'all?
Yeah, I don't have a problem if it's something big, it needs to come to the court.
Judge, the only question I have, and it's not gonna affect my office at all because we don't have that budget, but is the court willing to do emergency meetings? Let's say they had a lightning strike at the sheriff's office and it knocked out their dispatch module or all their computers that needed to be replaced immediately. If y'all set that policy, you'll obviously have to have some, if it's above 10,000, then he doesn't have that money in that certain line, he needs to transfer it out. So that it may make a little more work on y'all, but as long as, that would be the only thing I can see that in emergency situations
Right.
where the money was needed to be transferred pretty quick to replace some emergency equipment. And the auditor, I think, can do that fairly quickly, right, Angela, without,
Yes, that's actually the only reason, other than certifying revenue, that you're supposed to have a budget amendment at any time, is for emergency purposes, and that is in the LGC. So it wouldn't take long once we got that,
but if he had to transfer something out of different lines and it was more of an amendment than a.
well, that would be a line item
And they had to
transfer.
get prior
But if it
court
was
approval,
something that large.
y'all might have to have an emergency meeting or a 72-hour meeting to get it done quickly as opposed to on your regular meeting days. That's the only part of that policy I see that might cause the court some issues.
But I mean,
I think
there's
that'd be
no,
something we'd have to do anyway because
Yeah.
of the fact that it had to be emergency and we
Right.
need to be available when.
yeah, whether it was 10,000 or 50.
Doesn't matter.
So after all that being said, I know, since I presented my motion as it is presented to lower it to $10,000 with the policy from this commissioner's court and to make it effective immediately.
Okay, and Ms. Summers, I know you are raising your hand, but you didn't fill out the form for this, so I'll let you go ahead this time, but what are your thoughts?
I suggest it be lowered to 10,000 as well, because there's vehicles that a department could go out and buy for $49,999. I wouldn't have any say so over it, which I think I should, especially if it hasn't been budgeted for.
You think you should?
Taxpayers should have a vote. I mean, it should come before this court if certain department wants to buy a vehicle that wasn't budgeted for and they just have $49,000 to spend, they go out and spend it. It should be lowered to 10. 50,000 is a pretty big spend.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Yeah, he seconded it
Oh, you did?
Mhm.
I'm sorry.
before you ever made one. Great.
Time ago.
All right, all in favor? Okay. Court to discuss and consider options for employees, management, and operation of Friendly Waterworks and the filling of the vacancy of operation manager via a new employer contracting with the provider. So, as you all know, Gary is leaving Friendly Waterworks and going, you may or may not know, I don't know. He's going to work for Jim, so, and that is effective Monday. So Friday will be his last day at Herman Water. So, did some research and checked on a couple of things and checked on whether it's possible with someone who potentially might bid on the system, and it is possible to do a contract with someone. So checked with Corex, and they are willing to do a short-term 6 months contract with us to maintain Hermley Water. They normally don't do that, but they're willing to do a short term with us at a base rate of $3,500 per month. Materials invoice at cost plus 15%. After hours labor rate of 1.5 times an hour. Base monthly rate includes meter reading, sampling, turn-offs and turn-ons on site 2 days a week. Additional hours invoiced at $35 an hour for 6 months. Now, we would continue to do the billing since it is still our water system. But that's kind of where they stand on that. They would also ask if in the meantime, if they had a leak, if they could either use the backhoe and an employee or their employees use the backhoe. I think you're the only one.
Yeah, as long as the county owns the Harmony Waterworks, that's fine.
Okay, all right.
Well, I think that would be the optimum way to go because they have the license, they have the expertise to do that.
They
Okay.
do,
Um,
absolutely.
So that's my thought.
Right, and there are some other options out there. If we put somebody in there, we voted as Hermley Water Board to go out for bids on this. If we were to sell it, we're paying for somebody to get the training and all of that. In the meantime, this is actually going to be cheaper in the short run to do that.
Yeah, I think it would.
Of course, one of my guys was interested in taking Gary's place, and he even went so far as to say he'd pay for his own training and licensure. But it's still not like someone that has the expertise to make sure, and that's what I explained to him this morning. I want him to be able to make the kind of money that he needs to pay back for his wife's cancer costs.
Mhm.
But at the same time, we've got to do what's right for the community and for Hermley Waterworks, because there's a limited amount of money that's in that fund that will not be there if we keep spending it
No,
like we
it
have
won't.
in a short period of time. And so I agree that we need to do what's best for the community and for Hermley Waterworks. We need someone that's got the expertise and licensure to do it.
And I mean, that's what they do.
Absolutely.
And because if you take anybody else until they get their license, it's gonna be the same scenario we had earlier.
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Takes a while to come up to speed. You
what
gotta have
that is,
somebody to teach you first.
yeah, and Gary is probably not interested in
Probably.
having two jobs for one paycheck.
And Jim's probably not interested in having to either.
Probably not, probably not.
Do you see any problem, Mike, with us allowing them to use our equipment as long as we're on the shelf?
Not as long as we put it in a contract, and that's what I was trying to say, get them to draft, a rough draft of what they propose, as long as it's under the 50,000, where we don't have to bid it. Sounds like it's going to be, and make sure they include their workers' comp requirements that counties have to have in their contracts. I'll look over it, but no, I don't see it. It's just gonna be a matter of convenience, how they get a hold of you, maybe designate a contact person with a number,
No problem.
so that we.
That's what I was going to need. I mean, if we're still doing the billing, how are they going to get us the meter readings? When are they going to read the meters?
Right.
As well as, if we have questions, we're going to need them to come out and read those meters again.
Mhm.
Typically, we put some emergency contact numbers in there also for the sheriff's office to have, et cetera, for dispatch, for after hours. So anything like that that they can provide, we need everybody to have access to that.
Okay.
And if they're changing the reading dates, we need to let the Hermon Waterworks customers know, because they do pay attention. And if we do it early, we get a lot of phone calls about it. They do not like it.
Right.
I
So,
would think we could ask them if they can maintain the schedule that they currently have, or Gary has.
Yeah.
And that way not upset the apple cart.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think they would do that.
Okay.
Cause I know there's a lot of people in
Who's
Herman,
this with?
fixed income, or something.
Their person would basically come from Mitchell County. To do that. I'll look at that part of it, but, yes, sir.
I was just gonna say the parts, I've used their equipment, out there more than Terry's. I mean, the backhoe that the county has is a lot bigger than what the park has.
Okay.
So it's a lot, it's a lot smaller, you can get in a lot tighter spots with it. And then they've got the little back drum too, but,
Well, you've done lots of repair out there, so
oh yeah,
maybe
absolutely.
it'll be,
You've got it all fixed, don't you?
Well,
Yeah, but he has, he's.
yeah,
done
he
it.
has, I'm not saying you hadn't.
No, I know you hadn't.
Uh,
I was agreeing with you.
Yeah. Well, do we need to get this contract drawn up before we make a motion, or do we make a motion to allow Corex to do that and then draw up the contract and approve the contract?
I would think that we would get Mike to help the judge to create the contract that we need. And then as Mike sees that it follows government law, county government law, then to allow the judge to sign the contract and get it going, so that we're not waiting.
Good.
Because that's not gonna wait out there.
No, it's not.
So the sooner we can get that done, the better.
Yeah.
I'll make that a motion.
So, I'll second it.
All in favor? I will contact them today and we'll get that taken care of. Line item transfers and budget amendments?
There's none.
None? Okay, accounts payable?
Accounts payable, $777,899.38 plus $12,048.11 for the city bank.
I make the motion to pay the bills and Citibank.
All in favor? I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
we'll need paperwork. We'll need paperwork for you and Gary to sign.
Corex, is that C-O-R-Y-X?
For you and Gary.
E-X, all one